Hey everybody, welcome to today's video review. So let's start with the drawing from Adi. And I also want to let everyone know you can send your work for review as well. So see the description under this video on how to do that. So let's start with these drawings. So let's look. I think the construction is really well. You can clearly see you used shapes to draw these characters. And for anyone else watching, I would recommend to also use these kinds of shapes to draw your characters. For example, here, like this one, and in these cheeks. And yeah, here this one as well. So that all looks really great. So just keep going with that construction. And let me look at this one separately. So here, what I have a little bit with this one is here these eyes. I think these eyes could follow the shape a little bit more of the ball. So really try to think how these shapes are following the shape of the head. So something like this. Let's add these eyebrows and these eyes. So I think these eyes also have a little bit of a stare. So sometimes it helps to give them, put them to the edge. Or maybe sometimes I do this when I'm having these eyes, so put them to the side, so then you won't have that stare. I can show that a little bit with the cat as well. For this nose or for this mouth. So here we have this cheek, like this here. So this part is basically, actually it's this part. So it would make more sense to maybe have this line a little bit more like this here, because this line is our cheek. So now, yeah, where is this being pushed up from? It's normally the mouth corner. So this could be a bit like this here. And try to think about this shape as well. So like this, and then thinking about these nostrils. And I'm thinking you're doing really great. So just keep it up. Also think about the jaw. For example, if we here have the skull, this jaw moves like this. It rotates open. Look in a mirror at your own jaw, and then you can see that you have this rotation point and it rotates open. It doesn't go down. So you can also always see that in the drawing. So here then you have this neck, like this here. Maybe you can give these ears here to show a little bit more of the sides on the top. Same here. Here's this one. Maybe this one is behind, a little bit behind this wall. Maybe it's a little bit open, something like that, and it's more, a little bit more aimed that way. But I think you did a really fine job with that. Here, what I would do with this cat, I have this cat has a really intense look. So maybe I think it does help if you, how would I? Yeah, sometimes I do this. Sometimes I also have those intense looks in my characters. So, but what does help is to put this pupil here against this round. So, for example, if we compare this to this here, this feels more crazy and tense, and it feels a little bit more relaxed. I think this head is really great. Only the neck feels a little bit, yeah, yeah, out of place maybe. So if this is the side profile, and then you would have the spine, so it would be more than like this, right? So try to think also about that. So maybe sometimes it could be a little bit like this. It's still, it follows the body, right? Yeah. Try to think a bit about that when you're drawing. This feels a little bit too loose from the body, so I think it would make, it can be sometimes can be really hard. Try to think about how the neck is connected to the body. But awesome work. Keep it up. Let's go to this from Junior Dell. So awesome drawing. I think you did a really great job. Let's see. I would also love to see your sketch or your pencil sketch or whatever you used. Would be awesome. I also like that you're using this almost graphic style combined with this traditional style. So that's really cool. But I have this nose here feels like this way angle and this here. So I think if his head is tilted like this, then his nose also should be has this direction because it's one shape. So this nose could be like this, but then for my feeling, his head should also more have this angle, right? I hope. And or his nose is a bit skew, but I guess this you should think a bit about the angle of the nose should be aligned to that. So I think I personally would then draw the nose more like this. Also here with the ear. So here's one ear, and then that other ear should be somewhere here, or it could be down, and then it looks like this here. But I think because he wants to eat his cheese, so maybe you could even also open his mouth or something with his tongue to make that more, and maybe using these pupils, making smaller pupils, giving that intense look or something. And maybe you can also give him some kind of fork and a knife or anything. I don't know. Just thinking a bit. And then he would have something in his hands. Maybe I would pull this hand a bit back. Maybe I would do something. If you don't want to use any fork and knife, maybe you can use these hands a bit like this here. And then taking a little bit, maybe something like this here. Using a bit of overlap for shortening there. These feet are really great. I also like this tail, that it's aiming at the cheese. So great work with that. Keep it up. Keep going. So maybe here the shadow. I wouldn't make it this blackish. I would give it some lighter color. Maybe I also, if you're using black, I would give it a tint of purple or something. Just a little bit to give it a little bit more warmth or cool or anything. So try to think about that, but I think you did awesome. Keep it up. So let's go to the next one. So let's see. So first thing I think of is let's use this black. So here I'm going to make the silhouette and follow the drawing like this. From this arm, this ear, here, making the silhouette. So something like this here. Fingers. Turn it off. Let's see, how can we make this clear? I think I really like that you have this white area. So maybe we can make this a little bit bigger. So like this here. Maybe the only part maybe we can play around a bit with it is here we have the stick. Maybe use this. It's a little bit like this here. Maybe there's a small white porch there. So I'm also searching, right? I'm just trying to see what could work and trying things out. So I think thinking about how to make this silhouette more clear. Let's remove this tail a little bit. You know what? Let's draw this tail again. Also here, it helps if we see his head a little bit more. Maybe we can add, I think it's cool if he has his tail something like this here. I think this could help with the silhouette more. So I'm always trying to get a clear silhouette so that even that, because it's important the moment you look at a drawing that you can really quickly tell what's going on. And focusing on a silhouette helps because our mind filters out the shapes we see. So try to think about that a little bit. And I think you did a really great work on the drawing, some small things. So for example, with this leg, here you have two of these lines. Maybe you can give one side, you have this bulge, and then one side more straighter. So play around a bit with straight versus curved, etc. But other than that, great work. Keep it up. So let's go to the next one. Beautiful drawing from Megan. So I really like the storytelling in it. So let's focus a little bit on that. So yeah, here's water, I think. So here's this one. So I think I like to avoid straight, but in this case, I would make this a little bit straighter, especially when these windows are also there. And this area, like this here, and this water. Think a bit about that perspective. And I think perspective-wise, we have this lines going. I think if this is the focus point, I would make perspective like this. So it's really aimed at her head, and then it's in the middle, and that's really nice for a one-point perspective. So something like this. And we can give it a color. Like this here. And then use that perspective to draw all these things. So this line's already quite nice. So it's a 1 point perspective. Then we have this thing here, like this. This here. Then we have these windows like this. So maybe, and I always make them a little bit too crooked, but maybe you can give these slight angles. It always gives a little bit of charm. And also think a little bit about, so you have this perspective, so you can maybe give them a little bit of depth like this here. There's a blank, so it's always really good to think about those lines. Maybe give this a little bit edge. But you really use light lines and colors because you don't want to draw it too much attention. So, for example, these blanks should also follow this perspective. So they should be a bit like this. So they should all go to this point. So like this here. And this line should follow like this, and this follows like this here. So some follow my perspective line, and you don't have to follow it perfectly. You can use a little bit of, make it a little bit different every line, but overall they should aim for this point. So I would watch out with these lines getting together in this tangent. This one a little bit up here. And we have this edge here. Maybe I would add something like a small bar or something here. Put this, maybe make this roof window a little bit lower. So would watch out actually here with this object there. Also here, there's things happening, so I wouldn't place this thing here. What I maybe would do is, I think I do like this stuff here, so that then you get this framing here. But I do like that you have stuff there, so but maybe I would remove this window here, and this mirror, put it here, so that this hair is nice framed. But maybe you can put something else here, so maybe a small painting or something. And I do like this thing here and also here. So maybe we can even make this thing bigger and put it in the front, right? So that you have something in an object in the front. Then you can also do that here. So maybe make this one bigger, like this. So then we also feel like we're in the middle of this room together with these ones. Yeah, I really like this. It's cool that she's also watch that she's really looking at this object. So maybe like this. But awesome work. Maybe you can think a little bit about the line of action with this character, that it follows a little bit. Maybe we see a little bit more of her side. You see a bit more of her shoulder. It's overlapping this part, and that this is in front of here. That could help a little bit. But overall, I think you did really great. I like the storytelling, and yeah, keep that up. So let's move on to the next one from Mira. It's cool. I guess this is the Predator, right? I was a big fan of the movie when I was younger. So, let's see. But I really like, it's a really complex head. Try to break it down in these shapes like this. So this is his skull. His eyebrow is on top of that. So something like this. And here this one should stick out more, and it should follow the shape of this skull. So like this here. And then he would have his nose here. These eye holes. I think these should be a bit more sunk in, these eyeballs. And then here we have this cheek. This is awesome. This is great. I really like these things. So try to think in these basic shapes when you draw a character like this. I think you did an awesome work on the mouth, because that feels in the back. Maybe put this shape a little bit back, more like this here. So I especially think this part, this eye part. Think about this shape and how these shapes are going around. And so first try to break your characters down with these simple shapes. And it doesn't matter how complex your character is, but yeah, with these shapes, you can actually draw everything you want. Awesome work. Let's go to the next one from Antoni. So cool drawing. Are you making a profile picture? That's cool. So what can I say? So it's a front view and it's fun, and it has this graphic look. So that's fine. So I don't want to go too much in depth about creating that. So I personally don't really like when we get these kinds of points. So what I would do is give it a little bit more space. Because yeah, I always like to find those tangents. Maybe with a style like this, it could. So, let's see, how could we do? So maybe you can make them a little bit bigger or something. At least I always like to give it a little bit more space. I don't like it when all those things get to one point. It's especially distracting. It's called a tangent. I think this is great. Maybe you can move these eyebrows a little bit up. Like this here. So here we have this hair going like this. So thinking with this ear shape, so what you could do is you can also use something like an S shape inside it, or maybe something like this for the ears. So then try to think about this clothing. So maybe you could do something like this. You can definitely keep it really simple. Am I still recording?